So with Nikon announcing their ZF today, I kind of thought this would be a great time to go through the vintage inspired mirrorless cameras that I own and ones I've used, because that's part of what has gotten me back into photography. Gosh, that was probably in 2015. Before that, had two different Nikon DSLRs and I was never happy with them. I think part of it was the user interface, but part of it was also just the colors and the way the photos were coming out, because I had really good lenses, but I still was not happy, and they were full frame. So when I was living by myself in North Carolina, I was really lonely, did a lot of Instagramming and everything, and Carly Kloss, the model, had posted a photo of like stuff in her bag that she takes on trips, and in that was this camera, the Olympus EM10, just the original one. And I was like, wow, that is a beautiful little camera. It looks like it would be so fun to use. I bought one and I have not looked back. I had it with the kit lens that you see here, although actually I think I had the longer kit lens. And then I also had the, I bought this Panasonic 20mm to go with it because it has still the same kind of vintage silver vibe. Now, this had an accident with a can of Coke in 2019, right before I was leaving for England. This was gonna be my travel camera. I've used this on almost all my Disney trips, as well as on like that England trip, not this exact one. Thankfully had enough time to buy a new one, and I bought the EM10 Mark II. So this is still an older camera. I do love how they changed it. So if you can see, the silver's a little better, but the buttons and the dials look so much nicer on this one. They're just so much prettier and more tactile, and they're just, yeah, they're beautiful. So I'm actually really happy with this one. Wow, this is really dusty, because it just sits up on my shelf up there collecting dust, because that's all it is now. It's basically a fancy paperweight now. I'm just gonna keep it like that because it's special to me, even though it doesn't work anymore. And this one is very special to me, even though I don't really use it ever anymore, because this is what I took all those photos on, and it's still a very sentimental thing to me. There are cameras I will never sell, and this is one of them. I also had one of these fancy little like fake lens cap things, like it's an automatic one. So if I turn the camera on, it goes in and then puts the lens right. So I didn't have to worry about losing like a lens cap when I was traveling, which was awesome. I think I mostly used it with the kit lens the whole trip, and I did have it on JPEG, which is probably why I don't love all my England photos. Like, I liked them, I don't love them. So if I'd taken them in RAW, I probably would have been better off, but like there were a lot of issues with like connection and Wi-Fi and stuff when I was over there, especially in my hotel. It was not great. Like, it would be the whole night I was sleeping, it would still be trying to transfer images. So that was also when I had the free Lightroom too, so it might have been part of that, I don't know. But anyway, I love this camera. Afterwards, I also owned an EPL9, didn't love it. It just didn't have enough manual controls for me. It was a little too modern for me. I had the white one, so I thought it would look really cool, but it just wasn't great for me. I also had the EM5 Mark II. I think that was the next one I had bought. And I had hand grip on it and everything. I liked it, but I still didn't love it. And I think it's because it was a little older too. And then I had both the black and silver of the EM1 Mark II, because I had the black originally. I don't love when the vintage ones are black, because to me, I'd rather have a silver and black. And I saw that they had that like limited edition one. It still just never looked quite right. It didn't look vintage enough because it was a bigger camera. I eventually sold that along with my 12 to 40 2.8 Pro lens, because I just don't use zoom lenses all that often. And I still carry, or I still have, I don't necessarily use these all the time, but these are the ones I still have. So I still have my Pen F, which is gorgeous. It has the like color profiles and like the monochrome. I will say this takes the best black and white photos of any camera I've used. Even better than when I go to edit in Lightroom. I don't know what it is, but there is something about this in the black and white photos that just looks stunning when they come out of it. And right now I have the Panasonic 42.5 lens on it, because I used to buy the Panasonic lenses because they were cheaper. They still looked really pretty because they're nice and silver, but they were cheaper. I wish, just like everybody else, that they would create a Pen F2, because that would be a great camera. But no, for whatever reason, they never have. It has a fully articulating screen. The other thing is, I don't love that now that it's OM system, that the cameras say OM system. I don't have any. I don't really like that. I don't know. I know that's silly, but I like when they say Olympus. I don't like OM system on the camera. I don't have any of the newer ones. But I still think this is a great little camera. It's super fun and vintage. But again, there's just some things I had issues with. It was very slow to take photos, very slow to focus. It's an older camera. This is my favorite Olympus camera, and I will never sell this one either. This is the one that they say, like, when people buy this one, like, they don't sell it. And when camera stores still get this one in stock, it goes fast. And this is the EM5 Mark III. Another beautiful camera with these beautiful silver tactile dials. I just love it. And right now I have the Olympus 75mm lens on here, which is essentially a 150. So it's a nice super telephoto lens. It's got the fully articulating screen. I love this camera. It's basically an EM1 Mark II in a smaller body, which is why I sold those and kept this one, because I felt like, okay, well, I already have this. I know it only has a single card slot, but again, like, this is not a camera I'd be using for my professional work. This is just a fun camera. And I love it. And it's got weather sealing. So now, obviously, in order to have that, I would have to have a pro lens on it. So it would have to have, this is the only pro lens I have, is the 45mm pro lens. And like, I don't love that Olympus's pro lenses don't really look vintage like the silver ones do. So I do wish they made the pro lenses in silver, but to be honest, I'm not really buying Olympus anymore, especially now that it's OM system. I just don't have the interest in them. I'm not going to buy the ZF from Nikon, even though I think it's amazing and really cool. I don't want to buy into another system again. I already did that with Sony with the A7C, and that was kind of the reason I did it too, was because it had the silver and black colorway and it was a small camera. It just was still too modern for me, and then all the other issues I mentioned before, it just wasn't the right camera for me. So then I also have, let's do this one first. The only reason that this is the Canon G7X that I bought the Mark III instead of the Mark II. I already have the Mark I from ages ago, but we needed a second one just as a backup. I bought this one just because it came in silver and black. Like, that is the only reason that I own this one over the Mark II. I would have bought the Mark II because honestly, I think the focus and everything is better on it, but I wanted the vintagey look on this one. So that is why, I don't know if it's focusing, ironically. Okay, but that's why I have this. And that's why I would love it if Canon made like an AE1 style mirrorless camera, kind of like Nikon just did with the ZF. Like, they should capitalize on that right now while everybody's into Fuji and Leica and all of the like vintage looking cameras. On that topic, I have my two Fuji cameras as well, which are mainly what I use now. I use my R6 and my R8 for like professional stuff, sports stuff, that kind of stuff. But other than that, they sit here. They stay safe in here. I don't take them out with me. I don't even know that I'm gonna take them on our trip next year because I'm so happy with my Fujis as a little small travel cameras that I'm kind of like, what's the point? So this is the X-T32. I love this camera. This is the, well, it's a 35mm lens, but that basically means it's like a 50. And I love the aperture ring here. Like, it's so fun. I love the dials. I shoot in full manual anyway, so I just love the tactile experience of using these for that. This makes me want to take photos. And same with my other Fuji, which is my X100V, which right now I pretty much have both of these cameras with me at all times. Basically, my purse has both of these at all times, as well as the other two lenses I have for this. I have started using this for video, so now I don't also have to carry my G7X with me. But it's just been a great experience. Not just the film simulations, like even the times where I just want to edit the photos in Lightroom like I would any other, I still take everything in JPEG plus RAW on these, just so that I have that option. Olympus I just take in RAW now because I've learned that that's the best way to make my Olympus photos look good. But I just enjoy these so much. They make photography fun for me, and that was the whole point. And that's why I would love it if Canon did something similar, because like I already have Canon gear, like that's my favorite, especially if it was a full frame like the ZF, like that's what we need. Now the question is, what would you do for lenses? Like, would it be the RF mount, or would it be like, would they make vintage inspired lenses? I don't really know. I would love a vintage inspired Canon lens. Like, obviously then I would have to buy another camera and more lenses, and don't really want to be doing that. But ideally, in an ideal world, that is my ideal camera. And especially how the Nikon ZF has 2 card slots, like that would be really cool to have a vintage style camera that still has the 2 card slots and everything. Like, I think that's awesome. So that's just my thoughts on what I currently have and what I would love to see from different camera brands. I think they could all really capitalize on that film look that everybody's going for right now. So that's what I think.